Hi guys, so if you went to the 2021 Milwaukee New Year and you actually pay attention to the singing competition, then you will know me. I'm Koo Yang, the boy who signed up for their singing competition and didn't even place. This is my scary and terrifying experience in the new year. So 2 years have passed since our last Hmong New Year. There were many people there, including many of my classmates. Although I was nervous, I was more excited about the singing competition. There was snow falling and it was extremely cold outside. As I was in the car with my aunt and my cousin to the building on the snowing road, I saw what looked like two Hmong girls standing on the sidewalk with their side facing me, wearing Hmong clothes and long curly hair covering their faces. It was unexpected to see someone or anybody walking out on the sidewalk when it is cold and snowing outside. I asked my auntie, "Hey, do you see those two girls?" She was too busy looking at the road to look. She turns her attention from the road to where I was pointing. She looks at me with a confused expression. "I don't see anyone," she replies back. Since my auntie has already made a right turn, I didn't get a chance to check if they were still there. That afternoon, we waited and waited until it was time for the singing competition to begin. All the singers were told to go backstage and sit on the chairs. As I made my way backstage with the other competitors, it was a little dark, so I couldn't really see the people clearly. But I swear I saw those two same girls that I've always been seeing ever since this morning. I saw them walking in front of me, and they seemed like they were giggling about something. I don't know what it was. But later that day, when all the singers were seated, I couldn't really see them anywhere. Intentionally, I thought they were a part of the singing competition, but as we all sat down together, I couldn't see them anywhere, which made me very confused. Luckily though, I was treated very well by the other competitors, and one of them even helped me fix my shash. It was quite nerve-wracking to go on stage alone for the first time, and thousands of people. When it was finally my turn, the announcer called my name as I walked up the stairs and made my way to the stage. Before introducing myself, I glanced at the audience. I started singing as my music started playing. While I was about to hit the high notes, I noticed that those two girls standing all the way at the back of the audience, just standing there watching me. I wasn't able to see the audience because the lights were too bright, but I could clearly see the girls. So later when I returned to where my aunt and my cousin were sitting after I got off the stage, I asked them if they saw those two girls, but they just looked at me confused. "Maybe those two girls are just checking you out," my aunt said. When we came back home that day, I felt like someone or something was following me or even touching me. It was even more terrifying due to the fact that I sleep in my auntie's basement, in the room where I always sleep. That night, I went down to the basement with chills running down my spine. I could have sworn I saw someone to my left, but when I looked, nothing was there. When I went to bed, I dreamed that I was back in Hmong New Year, in the Hmong New Year building. I was singing back on stage, and as I looked around, I noticed nobody was in the building. It was completely empty, and it was just only me that was on stage. But as I looked closely at the audience seats, I realized that those two girls were just sitting there watching me. It was the same girls that I kept seeing. The girls had beautiful curly hair, and they were dressed in Hmong clothes with coins embroidered on their shirts and white skirts. Suddenly, I began singing, just as if it were in real life. While I was singing, I noticed that they were clapping and smiling at me like they were cheering me on. But just then, I heard the tone of my message notification as I woke up and picked up my phone to see what my friend had written in the group chat. We went to pick up my friend since he didn't get a ride. He needed a ride to Hmong New Year, so my aunt and I went to go pick him up. It was pretty early, so there wasn't many people there yet. So we went to buy some food and find seats. After a few hours later, we started seeing more people. When it was time for the singing competition, all the singers, including me, had to go backstage again and prepare. When it was my turn to sing, I went on stage and did my introduction as my music played and I started singing again. I did very well this time, and I could hear the crowd cheering and screaming for me. I could see myself if I was to view the screen to both my left and right, because there were cameras recording me. In a split second, I saw those two girls standing with me on the stage as I looked to the screen on my left. But as I looked both ways, there was nothing there. I turned back to the screen and they were both gone. As much as I wanted to panic or get scared, I had to keep singing and stand properly. As soon as I got backstage, I got really scared and I felt chills all over me as they were still there with me. Although I told my aunt and my cousin that I keep seeing those two girls, they never took it seriously, thinking that I was just messing around with them because that's what I normally do. But this time, it was serious. A couple more hours has passed and I had to use the restroom before my third song. As soon as I got to the bathroom, I went to the furthest stall and did my business. Suddenly, the light above me began flickering a bit as there was nobody else in the bathroom except for me. I felt scared and got out to wash my hands before going back to my seat. It felt like an eternity later when it was finally my final round. I went up on the stage again when my turn came up, but I wasn't feeling that well and I messed up in my introduction. I usually start by saying hello and then my name and then the song that I will be singing, but this time I forgot what to say. So I got a bit awkwardly silent before saying anything else that came on my mind. After I hop off the stage, I was too scared to look anywhere else because I didn't want to see those two girls again. Throughout my life, I've never seen a ghost, so seeing them out in the open like this was really new to me. It was too scary for me, in fact, to even stay backstage, even when there are other people around here with me. I kept having the feeling that they were right next to me, but each time I looked to my side, there was nothing there. I keep having visions and pictures of them just standing there with their curly hair blocking their face, waving at me, which gives me even more goosebumps. When it was finally time for them to announce the winners of the singing competition, they all had the singers go on stage, including me. We stood in a line beside each other. They were announcing the winners and have those 3 winners step forward. Even though I was confident that I would win 3rd place or 2nd, my excitement turned into confusion and sadness when I realized that I have not placed among the winners. I felt deep despair inside of me as I heard the crowd cheer for the 3 winners that I wasn't a part of. Although I smiled, I felt a deep despair unlike anything I've ever experienced before. It felt like my smile would disappear at any second. The winners received trophies and all of us received flowers and singing medals. Sad and disappointed, I returned to my auntie and cousin. They were trying to cheer me up and say it's okay, and my friends were also doing the same thing. We went back to the car that day as I looked out the window with sadness inside. Despite their efforts, I still felt sad and depressed that night. No matter how hard they tried to cheer me up, I came back home since it was school tomorrow, so my auntie had to take me back to my house. The following night as I went to sleep, I had another dream that I couldn't really recall. I was walking out of New Year all alone as I was standing at the same spot where I saw those 2 same girls walking on the first day. Nobody was around and there was no car. I stood there all by myself as I heard a quiet voice calling my name. "Haiku," the voice said. As I looked to my left, I saw those 2 girls once more, but this time they were right in front of me, unlike the other times where I only saw them far away. Do I know you guys?" I asked them. "Yeah, you don't remember me?" One of them replied. "My name is Angel," she said as she smiled cutely at me. "And I'm Christina," the other girl said. I tried to think to myself where I met them from, but I couldn't remember anything. I looked at them not knowing what else to say. It felt like an awkward silence before Angel started talking again. "Hey, we saw what happened. Don't be sad. Even though you didn't get place, you still did very well and many people loved it. We also really love your singing," she says with a cheerful tone as she puts her hand on my forehead, gently rubbing it. Thanks," I said back. "But hold on, do I even know you guys? Do I?" I asked. "Well, you saw us first. We were just walking to New Year, minding our own business, when you spotted us and startled us," Christina says. "Oh, really? Oh, sorry about that," I said. "It's fine. We're glad we got to meet you," Angel says. As I look everywhere, I realized that the entire street and road were empty. I finally came to my senses and took my attention off them. As I looked at them, they were both gone. I panicked and woke up with chills running through me. Since I was too scared to go to sleep that night, I stayed up using my computer and blasting music in my earbuds. The next day was also a school day. Well, ever since Hmong New Year, I feel like those 2 girls are still watching me. I even told some of my friends at school about it and they told me to fetch a shaman, but is it really necessary? What if there aren't ghosts and it's just my imagination? Even today, I still feel like they are still here with me. I think I'm going insane.